Kamuta kutandi. Obwire kulukutandikira kuki. I want to go and close the window. Obwire bukeyi.
Tukoima tunywa albateni nyemunywa gesoha tukalemeraho tulikaka bakaya omukintu kinu abamu batweta tata bwensonga bamanya twarukire titugira na bitabu hali tubyama kazi bensimbi tubareze mpapura nkomusana bulikira tukera ensonga kuba kwa ure nsimbi oikaranga ikara hoima orukanga nduga hoima oikaranga ikara hoima orukanga nduga hoima oikaranga ikara hoima orukanga nduga hoima.
Hello, this is Erakali ya Bunyoro Muruganka Nduga Hoima. Nduganka Nduga Hoima. Ninyowe Carolina Juna Hanu Kiwuka Atenyi. This is Erakali ya Bunyoro Diaspora. Thank you so much for tuning in. Welcome and good evening all of you. I can see people are already with us. Most welcome. All of you have tuned in. Kandi kanihire akazina ko Ruganka Nduga Hoima mwenyewe na mukanyumirwe na nyowe Nduga Hoima abamasini nanye tubali muliyo n'abakibale n'aba district zone mukaga obo 8 za Bunyoro indwena tubasomerere muno kubarora kiro kinu anko bubagambire Erakali ya Bunyoro in the diaspora. Sponsored by Bunyoro Kitara Development Association. We are here today once again. Ninyenda kubajukiza mukake tutakatangirikire show nti sheno eja kuba mu 2 languages, that is Runyoro and English. And Runyoro is the language spoken by the people who come from Bunyoro, and Bunyoro is found in the western part of Uganda. Baitu ninyenda kubajuka again omundabaza yakagambo mu lulimo rundi mutambihirirwa abo kuba Bunyoro is inclusive nko mbubaire ni muhura shows it from Omunyoro birija na gamba ekigambo Nyoro, it includes everyone. nahabweke obundabaze another language, don't get upset with me, but yeah, it will be Bunyoro and English. Hati ni nkobuboine tugenda kubantu baza her voice, her films and motion pictures in Bunyoro. Kionka ntaka genzere hara muno ninyenda kusaba munyikirize tu anka kombayewe nkonywe na nkomuhulire mbaye ni muhuro mu week egyo tubayire bizibu binge bitwikiroho as usual tufereirwa abantu bayingi tufereirwe mu Bunyoro abantu bamani ninyenda ntakatandikire to send ito hana bayiraka lya Bunyoro mu Diaspora nituenda kuganyira or to extend our sincere condolences to the kingdom of Bunyoro Kitara and the entire family of the late Okwi George Kyaligonza, who served as a deputy prime minister and a minister of natural resources in the kingdom. He was laid to rest in his home in Hoima. That was, I think, on Thursday. Mukama amuhe ekihumuro kirungi. Kandi ninyenda also kuganyira one of our special guests, omukaikuru wange Alisi Atenyi, hakutwarwa kwa anti we obanyine nkuru nyowe, omukaikuru Erina Akiki Kibego, who was laid to rest in her home in Kiamongi yesterday, and we send our sincere condolences and sympathies to the entire family. Kani ntuongerera kuganyira omukaikuru wange habo kuferwa omuramuwe Mzee Kashambuzi Erika, who was laid to rest in the US. We also send our sincere condolences to the family. Mukama ayongere kubagumya bona. Kandi nituganyira abo bona abantu abafereiro abatusaboire kubaza hanu kionka abafereiro abagonze babwabu ntwenda kubaganyira, and we send our sincere condolences and sympathies to them and to the entire family. Kandi ninsaba tutekinge a minute of silence to commend the souls of those who have departed. May their souls rest in peace. Amen. Hanyuma ibirange ebyo ninyenda kuba jukiaho. Our topic today is movies and motion pictures in Bunyoro Kitara. And as you may have all been seeing our flyers going around, today twina our special guest all the way ko Bunyabagambire last week, all the way from Australia to come and present this topic for us. She's been here before, and I think you already know who she is. Kionka ninyenda kumutangira asobole kuija her line. Tali naitu hano, of course she's far away. Aimukire nyenkia karamuno hate saho wawu zili saha 11 oba sa 10 kichweka between 4 to 5 very early in the morning. Kionka asoboire kuimuka kuba hamnaitwe hano, kandi ninyenda kumutangira muno, kandi no kumusima ayibale muno to sacrifice her time. She would be in bed, but because of her love to our motherland, Bunyoro, she has made sure she's made it today. Amoti, tusemerere muno kurora, and thank you so much for accepting to come once again to be with us here iraka lya Bunyoro mu Diaspora. Kandi nitukusima muno kumara kuha obwire bwawo obwire kiaswekero ko bakuba ino byama baitu waikiriza kuba hamnaitwe hano. Ninyenda muno kukutangira kandi ninsaba ntaka kutangirire. I want to congratulate you amoto kumpura. Ninyenda congratulating upon the achievement, the great achievement that you were able to attain, I think a month ago. Last time you were here without that achievement, but today I would like to congratulate you. Webale muno kusoma kandi no kutu kwe ekitinisa Bunyoro. We have another doctorate moreover from a lady. Very, very excited, and we are very privileged to honor you today and to have you today as a doctor. Webale muno kusoma Moti, and congratulations.
Thank you so much.
I know nkibalizo takietegereize baitu. I had to do that before we start. Hati Amoti nkwenda obeyo bugambo buke obogambira aba viewers baitu abatakumanyire basobole kumanya usura kubagambira who you were before you, what you are today and what you want to be, if you want to tell us all that, and so basically they get to know you, and then we start off with our show. Otebuna Moti.
Okay, webale munatenyi, we request nsobole kozesa olujungu habokuba haroho abantu bandi abatakula olunyoro lutoro on the show whom I would also like to talk to. So mabara ninyo we Evelyn Cindy Magara Amoti, as you were told. And good evening, good morning. Where I am is coming to 6 o'clock. Good evening to you and the people in Uganda or wherever they are watching from, morning or evening. I'm so glad to be here once again. Yeah, I think that's all.
Omaziro oba Moti. Tokwenda kubagambira kiki okola, kiki okukola hati. Basobole kumanya kulungi.
Well, it's very hard to talk about yourself. That one you must know. That's why usually companies or some people get people to talk for them, because it's so hard to really begin talking about yourself. Anyway, I'm a lecturer. I lecture at Magara University.
Yes.
And I'm a filmmaker. Film was my first passion. I'm a creative person, and I think that's it.
Wow. Katukale katugendera otragana ntukumanyaga more and more, and of course now you're called a doctor, which we have already said. So abantu now, and you're a mother. I know last time you told us, and a wife to one, which is amazing.
Mother of 3 and wife to 1. That is very important.
Okay. Hati.
About the doctor, the doctorate rather, Webale Kusima, thank you so much, and thank you for all your good wishes. It has not been easy. It's been I'll be making about 3 years and a half, really, of studying and being away from my family in Sydney and going to Uganda just over Christmas time. And in this period of time, I also lost my sister, Susan Magara.
Yeah.
And it kind of really hit me hard. But thank goodness that I was able to get back on track and able to complete this in time. And I will call you all to celebrate, because I was awarded a PhD, but the graduation, which is a celebration of a degree, will be later. And that's why I had not even shared this on Facebook. So when you are talking about it, I was like, my friends are going to say, she didn't tell us. We don't know. Anyway, you will get the pictures of the graduation when they come. But here I am. But I'm a simple person. A PhD is just, to me, a beginning of a long journey to be not just a responsible person, but to contribute more to your community. For me, it is a weight that now I'm carrying. You have to do more research, you have to do more publications, you have to do more movies, because I've gotten a PhD in film. I don't really care about titles, so you don't have to call me doctor.
Okay. I won't.
Call me by my name. Calling me Amoti is enough.
All
yeah,
right.
That's it.
Oh, thank you. We actually, we were very saddened to hear of the death of your sister, and may her soul rest in peace. Hati webale muno kutugambira more about the doctorate, ntujja kuba ntulinde bisani na pate. Hati
no party.
Party. Hati, we just waste without taking a lot of time, because it's going to be a long night. I just want us straight away to start talking about this movie that we are going to be talking or discussing tonight. I know it was done. You started, or it was done year 2010, ready, or 2010/11, ready for the elections. But I don't want to spoil everything. I don't want to speak about it myself, because it's you who have come to talk about it, and I want you to tell us the synopsis of this movie that we are going to be talking about, and then we'll be continuing with the rest of the questions. What is the synopsis of Fair Play?
Okay, thank you so much. I was, first and foremost, I was excited when you asked me to talk about Fair Play. I reflected on it. I said, what a coincidence that I'll be talking about Fair Play at the time when we are heading for the 2021 election. So there is a tense electioneering process in Uganda. And when we made this film in 2009, 2010, it was to prepare, it was to contribute to the voter education. Mm-hmm. It was for the 2011 election process in Uganda. So Fair Play, with that background, was commissioned by the Electoral Commission of Uganda, funded by the European Union. And because it was supposed to be an educative film, and yet it had to be fiction, so it followed the storyline of young men from Wekoto, and Wekoto is an imaginary electoral process, Wekoto County, and these young men, 4 of them, or a group, we only focus on the 4, but it's a whole group of football players of Wekoto FC. They are normal, playing their football, going around their own life. They don't care about politics. And one day they are told by the local councillor that their pitch is going to be leased to a private developer. And they protest this vehemently. They don't want their pitch to go, because that is where they go for recreation. And anyway, they are forced, and the councillor comes with some kind of goons. So these boys are really overpowered. They are told, leave, we will talk about it. And they're extremely disappointed. They wonder why their councillor, who is supposed to be representing their interest, defending their interests, to make sure their pitch remains, or if there's any private development, there's an industrial area dedicated to that kind of function. So on their way home, all of them henpecked, heads down, they hear coincidentally an announcement on radio that there is going to be a by-election in that in Wekoto County. There's going to be a by-election, and it will coincide with the election of local councillors. So the by-election is for the area MP. And the local councillor who came to talk to them, he's going to go to be tested again on the ballot. They say, okay, this is our chance now to make sure we vote this guy out. But most of them have never checked the register, they've never registered. It's only that need that ignites them to go and find out what they should do. And at that time, the most effective electoral commission in this movie is organizing already a voter display, as they hear on the radio. So they decide to go and find out. One of them discovers maybe he's having... So anyway, when they go there, that's when we learn we begin the electoral process. Before an election, what happens? Registers are displayed, people go and check their register, there are parish tribunals to make sure people who are not supposed to vote are not in the register. And one of the boys, who is called Tomasi, he didn't register, so he's not on the register. Another one registered, his picture has been, the name is there, but they put a picture of a lady. So he petitions that, asks them, please correct it. And Kato, who is our lead character, as we will see, and is also the captain of the team, is very curious. He really wants to find out, what does the parish tribunal do? How do they go about this? So when they are at this display center, which is at a certain primary school, they get to meet other politicians, a chairperson of a given party, a representative of a given party, which we later learn is called Citizen Empowerment Party. And mind you, just as an aside, I had to create new parties because much as I had an imaginary electoral area, it was still located in Uganda.
Wow.
I had to create new parties, as we will see, Citizen Empowerment Party, Freedom Party. They didn't have to be the parties that exist in Uganda. A Social Alliance Party, which is also called the Workers' Party. So anyway, the boys begin that process, and they themselves even have an argument. They want to vote the councillor out, but they don't know which party to join. And this is very critical for me. I wanted to show people what criteria should you use to join a given party.
Yes.
And the boys discuss, it has to be the manifesto. What does their manifesto say? And how does a certain party take care of our interests? And another boy says, okay, for me, my parents belong to the Farmers' Party. I have to belong to the Farmers' Party. And through that, like the little conflicts that come with electioneering, we're able to learn what are the principles that any human being can follow to pick a certain party. And when you disagree, for example, with your friends, like if your best friend decides to support another party, what do you do? Do you have to become enemies, or do you, as we will see anyway?
Yeah.
So these boys, in that process of finding out what party to join, of course, they keep going from one party to another, and they are really curious. They want to know what is in your manifesto.
Yes.
So they finally join the Citizen Empowerment Party, and one of their colleagues called Mugabe decides he won't join that party because his family supports another party and he belongs to the other party by birth. That's what he thinks. So they part ways anyway. Kato, the lead character, coincidentally, when he's at the Citizen Empowerment Party, he finds out that this party is in a crisis. They want, one of their councillor has just turned down. He cannot contest anymore, and they must field a candidate. And Kato is like, I think this is my chance as a youth. We've been having no voice. It is my chance for me to contest. He convinces this party that he can be a compromise candidate.
Yep.
And he contests. So Kato then is aligned with the MP candidate for the Citizen Alliance Party, and Kato with his team, they make a very formidable force in canvassing for votes for the Citizen Empowerment Party candidate, who is called Atim Kagoro. And Kato also, he does very well, but also through Kato's journey, we are able to learn when a young man or a young person decides to join politics in a country like Uganda, or in this imaginary county. Wepoto. What are the challenges this person faces, and what does the Electoral Commission say about that? So we learn the do's and don'ts, the evils of the electoral process, the hype that comes with it, and so we learn a lot from Kato, and he finally does not win.
Yes.
But
which is sad.
Yeah, it's really sad. He does not win, this Kato, the young man, but he gets many votes. And the candidate they support, the candidate they endorse, Atim Kagoro, who is slightly older than them, goes through, and she was contesting against a very notorious incumbent who is ruthless, is playing dirty games. So that other candidate goes through, which is so good. Kato doesn't go through. So when they announce that Kato has not gone through, and what Kato does is he walks to his competitor and shakes hands with him. Amazing. Which was for me to tell people, sometimes when you lose, you don't have to really maybe go on the street and protest. You don't have to cause chaos. Kato says, thank you so much. And of course, his friends are all sad that they've lost, and Kato's life returns to normal. Kato is a barber. He's a he studied education. He has a diploma in education. As usual, he doesn't have a job. So he decides to be creative. He has his barber shop. He returns to normal life at his barber shop. So one day at his barber shop, the candidate who won walks to him and asks him to actually become the coordinator
Amazing.
the area coordinator for the MP, which is also very good because Kato had good ideas. We see Kato is going to be productive, and he returns to playing football because their field had not yet already been leased. And they are at the pitch, the end scene. We see them at the pitch, or the youth of Wekoto with their coach, and Kato, their captain now, who lost elections. And as they are discussing the way forward, what are they going to do, where will they be playing football from, the councillor who beat Kato at the election shows up, and he tells Kato, thank you so much for teaching me a lesson.
Amazing.
You did so well, because Kato almost beat him. Thank you so much, and I would like to work with you. I would like to get your ideas. I really learned a lot from you, and we as a council, we have paid attention to your petition not to sell not to lease the pitch, and we've decided we'll leave it with you so that you can play your football. So the movie ends with these youth. It starts with them playing their football, and it ends with them kicking the ball, continuing to play their football.
Oh,
so
amazing.
Yeah.
That is the synopsis of Fair Play. And thank you so much, Amoti, to enlightening about that and giving us that. That gives our audience, I'm sure they've heard it well. And so we are going to be playing a little clip to put all what you've just said to us, to the viewers, so that they can connect and get to know exactly what you are talking about. So our viewers baitu n'aba listeners or the audience tugenda genda muki movie night as usual, bringing it out. I know some people don't like movie nights, baitu tuija kuba nayo tonight again. We have champagne, we have popcorn, we have wine, and amotinete glass ya wine, we have matara, and we are going to show this Fair Play, what Amot has just been telling us. Now mutio muno abanyoro n'abanyoro kati n'aba friends, movie night now.
It's sad we are going to lose this year's competition, but don't get worried. Wekoto FC will never die.
Our man, our captain.
Who are we?
Wekoto.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Chairman, for your encouragement. I think everything has been explained so far. However, I have something small to say. It's sad to lose our pitch and not be able to play football again. We got ourselves in this problem because our leaders ignored us. Those of you who registered, go and check the registers. They're on display. We will force them to listen.
But how?
The candidate for Wekoto Citizens Empowerment Party has defected. And with your support, I'm offering myself as a candidate.
Yeah, I'm there for you. I'm there for you. I have 2 votes for you.
If we are honest, you are going nowhere. You cannot win this election just because of a football pitch.
All I'm asking is the Citizens Empowerment Party endorsement as their candidate. And others too should join us.
Mr. Captain, what you're doing is very good, and we support it.
Thank you.
But some of us are Social Alliance Party by blood.
Listen, Mugabe, you have the right to support any other person. But if we, footballers, youth, split our votes, who is going to support us? Guys, let's all put our eggs in one basket.
Yes.
Listen, guys. Kato, we support Kato. Captain, we shall support you. Come. Support Kato.
Yes. Kato, oh yes.
Let us support Kato.
have been a member for just a few days, and now you want us to front you as our councillor candidate because you have supporters from the club?
Yes.
Young man, don't you think you need a good reason for us to pick on a newcomer like you?
I am what you need.
These are just a handful of names.
And through our club network, we'll be able to reach other people from other parties.
What does the Citizens Empowerment Party stand for?
Accountable leadership and empowerment of people to solve their own problems. That's why I'm seated here.
Gentlemen, what would you say if someone said you have no experience?
I know some of you think I'm too young or inexperienced to make an impact, but I'm inspired to fight for the values of this party. And I have a great number of youth out there who are ready to come and turn this town around.
Mr. Kato, thank you. We will communicate to you.
Thank you.
I do not know why we have to waste our time with such an inexperienced person.
But he's what we need. Young, confident, fresh. And he already has some supporters.
Whatever we decide has to come soon.
I've joined the Citizens Empowerment Party.
Should I be surprised? Then tomorrow, which party are you jumping to?
I'm convinced they have the best policies compared to other parties. I'm also persuading them to allow me to run for councillorship for their defected candidate.
I don't know who has been influencing you. Your father is in the National Party. I support the Workers' Party. What will people think?
They will think this is a family where everyone thinks for themselves.
Now I'm convinced this boy is smoking something. But experience is the best teacher. Let him take his foolishness out there. When he gets kiboko, he will know.
Nimuhuliriza iraka lya Bunyoro kuruga mu Diaspora on TGM Radio.
Niye gyo synopsis yaite amote yatugambira a whole little bit of it, and ko muvoine mwebale yo omu movie night hati aki amot tuolekeze that part ngira abad viewers baitu bagyetegereize hati nkwenda otugambiroho. Yeah, the main, if you can stress the main characters to any society, habokuba nkurora hanu Kato, a team, itweri, it young. So we just want to help us stress these characters somewhere in the society, in Bunyoro or somewhere in Uganda.
Okay, that's an interesting question. Of course, since, as I said, this film is set in an imaginary electoral area called Wekoto. But Wekoto is part of Uganda. We didn't like to identify with any given county because we would have been seen to be meaning that the MP in that area is the one who behaves like, for example, our protagonist or the bad character in here, antagonist, Itwara. And so it was a careful negotiation of being specific to a given area and also really also showing the inclusiveness of or multiculturalism of Uganda, but being a Bunyoro and one of the writers, so I gave the leading characters the Kinyoro names.
Yes,
For
amazing.
example, Kato, he's just Kato Johnson, so he can be Bunyoro, he can be Muganda, or he can belong to any community in Uganda where they call one of the twins Kato. His best friend is called Etiang. This was deliberate to include the Luo people, to include Etiang could be a Kumam, could be from Eastern Uganda, it could be from, it's usually Eastern Ugandans who name that word, or that name rather, could be from Northern Uganda. Then the other friend is called Mugabi. Mugabi can be a Bunyoro Kitara, can be a Bunyoro, can be a Munyankole, can be a Mkiga, can be a wherever. And the other one is just Tomasi, but a neuralized Tomasi, not Thomas, but in vernacular,
Tomasi.
Yes. So, we also were trying to localize him to any place where they've kind of, because these biblical names or the foreign names, we try to localize them that way. The other leading character, or most important, significant character, is Atim.
Atim Kagoro.
From the name, and she's a lady, so Atim, it means that's maybe her given name, and she's called Kagoro. So Mrs. Atim Kagoro, that means she's married to a Kagoro. So that means she's a Bunyoro by marriage.
Amazing.
And she's most likely from the north. The Tiang is from the east, Atim is from the north. And she's married to a Bunyoro Mutoro, because Kagoro is a typical Bunyoro Kitara name. I think it even refers to a god. I looked for a name that cannot be contested as ours.
Yes.
Then who else? Like the Electoral Commission.
The lady,
the returning officer. She's called Amelia Kagubaza. Kagubaza is my late mother's name.
Amazing.
So, which is also a Kinyoro name.
So you were trying to get all the names basically from Bunyoro, no?
Yeah, to kind of, because you know what? Because that's how I can still show my presence even in the film, which is not based in Bunyoro. Because how do you tell maybe the background of a given story, or it will be from the names, from the language. And here we are going to use English because we were supposed to use English. It was supposed to be for all Ugandans. So I didn't use any given local language, apart from a few expressions. And then when I went to the theme song, that is the soundtrack, the key message soundtrack, it is actually in Lusoga, your favorite language.
I know. It's like when you are writing, Amot, it's like when you are writing this film, you are foretelling that there will be a voice of Bunyoro at one time, and the host was very much interested in Rusoga, and it will be voice of Bunyoro. So you're a foreteller, basically. I'm glad that you wrote Fair Play.
Not really that. I was just trying to put my identity there. And I will tell you this.
Yes.
The person I co-wrote this movie with, Godwin Otuoma,
yes,
he's Kenyan.
Wow, amazing.
So he could not contribute to any of the names. He's Kenyan, though he contributed to Wekoto. He's the one who came out with Wekoto. I'm like, Wekoto sounds Bantu, sounds Northern, sounds Eastern. I think perfect. So the whole place is called Wekoto, so we had to rebrand Wekoto Market. I think when people watch the movie, they will see we had to create Wekoto Market, give it a poster, Wekoto Medical Center, things like that. So it is through art, in a way. The writer always pushes their identity there. So even in here, you cannot locate the story to Bunyoro, but by the way, also the names. Like when they're reading the votes, where they're coming from, we get votes coming from Kitoba.
Yes, I was about to ask you about.
I could only use the villages from where I come from, because I wouldn't imagine other villages. So in the end, when you pay really attention to it, you can locate it to Bunyoro.
Yeah,
And
so
with its
that's when I was trying to invite you. I know last time you talked about Windows of Hope, and this was in Bunyoro, and people were so happy to have a film in Bunyoro. So I was thinking, so now what am I going to ask Cindy? This movie is in English. People are going to say Habaki Orujungu, and then I was encouraged when I started hearing Parajuoki, Duoli, and I was like amazing, and I had the names, so it made me feel like it was Bunyoro, and it was suiting our topic. So it's amazing. And to continue from there, what are the themes of this film? If you can tell us more about the theme, so that we can understand more, so people can associate the film to our topic today. So I think as you go deeper, then they will understand. Because I've watched the whole movie. I don't want to spoil the movie for them. I want them to go and actually watch it and see what we were talking about. So just give us a little snow about the themes, so that we can understand it more.
Okay. Basically, the themes were really straightforward. Because it was a voter education film, I wanted to show in simple terms what is bad politics and what is good politics. What are the things in politics that you shouldn't do, or what are the things in politics that people do and they end up causing more chaos. So I positioned characters in duality and contrasting them, like Atim Kagoro, the woman MP. She stands for a good politician. She does not want to bribe people. She wants her campaign agents to go and focus on the message. And Atim, as an MP contestant, is juxtaposed with Itwara. I forgot to tell you about Itwara. Itwara is the name for royals in Bunyoro and Toro. Itwara, the bad character here, he's a bad politician.
And he has been in power before.
And he's the incumbent.
Yeah.
He wants to use his status to remain in power. And he has all the pomp, when he goes, for example, to the nomination center, he rallies so many youths. Again, it is the youths in here who are doing all the dirty work. He rallies so many youths, they are dancing, the pomp, he's bribing people.
Yeah, he has so much money.
Then he notices that Atim Kagoro is giving him really hard time. And instead of focusing on the message, focusing on his manifesto, he resorts to using ruthless methods, like, for example, intimidating Atim Kagoro's supporters. And Kato, because he becomes a very formidable force in the CEP camp, Citizen Empowerment Camp, Kato is one time attacked. He's beaten.
Wow.
So then another thing I wanted to focus was the youth. What is the role of the youth? When I was making this movie, I was still in my 20s when I wrote it and made it.
Oh, so that's why it's more of a youth movie. I was wondering. So why? Also, you were 20 at that time, in your 20s.
Yeah, I was still in my 20s.
Wow.
And that is in 2010. The demographics of Uganda were showing that the youth
are the majority.
As it is today. Today they say they are, actually, I've already left the ones who are above the 35, the 75%, who are below 30 or 35. So I'm not even belonging to that category.
So you're no longer youth.
I'm still very young. So so you can imagine the population, the demographic curve of Uganda.
Yes.
So at that time, I was thinking, these youth, usually, I had seen, by 2010, how many elections had I seen as an adult? I think the first time for me to vote was in 2001. So I had seen like two elections maybe. And in those elections, I could see the youth were really being abused and being used and being taken for granted. It's as if the politicians come to them to use them for the show, ride motorcycles, go and cause chaos, go and deface somebody's poster. They just use them as criminal hitmen or hit women. Afterwards, they are dumped. They don't ever go back to them. And this fact is clearly illustrated in this film when the boys whom Itwara's camp sent to go and disorganize Atim Kagoro's campaign rally. Of course, there is a scuffle, these people fight, police comes in, and the boys are hospitalized. Both of them get fatalities, Atim Kagoro's people and Itwara's people. And so the boy, one of them, walks to Itwara's henchmen on the eve of the voting, and he's limping. He asks Itwara's henchman, "I'm so and so," and the guy is like, "I don't remember you." He says, "I'm so and so. I'm the one you asked to go and beat Atim Kagoro's supporters." He says, "And well,
forgotten already."
And then he tells him, "I will see you at the next election. Get away out of my sight." So the youth are abused. So I wanted to show the youth, much as you're going to, I'm encouraging you to participate in politics. And it is everybody's right, is another point. It is everybody's right, as long as you're above 18, to participate in the election, in the electoral process. Make sure you're not bribed. Make sure you vote for ideas. Vote for ideas, not for a bribe that you take. And make sure you're not abused like this youth I'm showing, because in the end, when the politicians are in their good cars, they are in parliament getting their money, you'll be nursing wounds. Yeah, you'll be nursing wounds. They won't even pay for your medical bill. But the good politician, Atim Kagoro, for example, she goes to hospital to check on her supporters who are beaten by the enemy. She goes to check on them, and coincidentally or as a dramatic effect, at one time Atim Kagoro is almost giving up because the pressure is too much from the competitor. He's using all the force, he's using all the brutality, he's scaring her to the extent one day he sends something like something really funny, something to look like a skull, a jaw of a given animal, to insinuate a kind of juju or just get out of this thing, because she was becoming more prominent and she had beaten him on the
that reminds me. I don't know whether you will be able to explain in as Itwara's Itwara's campaigning sign or something is like, what does that mean?
Itwara's what? I beg your pardon?
Sign of, when other one has this arm, another one has the so Itwara's one is this.
Symbol.
It's a symbol. So what does that mean?
Itwara was from the Workers' Party, and the Workers' Party, the Social Alliance Party, the party he belongs to, they are workers, and their symbol was a rake. It was so hard for me, and again, it was creative, because I had to create new symbols, new parties, new party colors, and new symbols.
Wow.
Actually,
so when I was watching the movie, I thought this man is even starting to abuse them as they're speaking. She's intimidating the woman and he's rocking akubahema nyagamba kande no movie kayafoka ndiye kuli munebi yokwemu.
It was a wreck.
It was a wreck.
And of course, Itwara now being the bad guy, the bad character, and he's all gigantic. He's tall. So when he would stand and do like this, and his people are chanting and he's doing this, he just looks like monstrous. He looks like a monster, which was playing to the dramatic effect of it all.
Yes.
So then another thing I really wanted to emphasize was to show what is the role of the Electoral Commission. An effective electoral commission. When Itwara and Atim, they have issues. For example, Itwara decides to deliberately go on Atim's rally. Atim's people are setting up their rally, and Itwara's guys come and disorganize them. There's a scuffle. Police comes in, which was also a key thing in this film to show what is the role of police in the electoral process, what is the role of the electoral commission. The very effective returning officer, Amelia Kagubaza, in this film, summons Itwara, and she is tough on him. She tells him, Itwara, you're going to have to campaign on issues. Don't attack the personality of the other candidate. Focus on the issues. Don't bribe people, or else you will be terminated. And And for me, when you connect this to the theme song, which kept repeating in Lusoga, Kiroto Kiaitwe, something like that, that this is our dream, Uganda.
Kiroto Kiaife.
Kiroto Kiaitu.
Kiaife.
Because the song is in Lusoga anyway, so that's how the way they sing it.
Yeah.
They twist it. So I wanted to show what is this dream Uganda that the youth or the majority of Ugandans would like to see: an effective electoral commission, an effective police, which is not, for example, partisan. The police in here don't support Itwara because he's an incumbent. Itwara does a lot of electoral malpractices. And after the election, when they announce that a team has beaten him, rightly so, he protests. He wants to cause chaos. And the police comes in and arrests him for voter bribery. That means as the electioneering process was going on, the EC was able to compile all the malpractices that each camp was doing. And at one time, the EC returning officer had summoned these two candidates to her office and told them, do you know what, I don't like this. And she's very tough. Yeah. And she is a lady. She tells him, I don't like this. You have to stop it. If you want, I should organize a debate. And you know, before then, in 2010, America was voting. You know, America votes a few months before we vote.
Yes.
America was voting, and Barack Obama had just won.
Yeah.
And you know, in America they have debates, very civilized kind of debates.
Yeah.
So I was thinking, why can't in Uganda, why can't we also have debates?
Not this time around, though.
At that time, that time we had never had debate. So I imbued it in the narrative that the returning officer tells these people, if you're just shouting and bribing people, and all of you think you are the best candidate, bring your issues to the debate. I'm going to consult with an NGO. So we created the civil society organizations, how they come into, and I also wanted to bring in their role to support government, as they should do anyway. So these two candidates go for a debate. And Kato's mother, the one you've seen in the part that you showed, the snippets that you showed, she was against Kato's
joining another party.
Belong to another party again, which is also a big issue for me, to show people that if you are in a certain family, you don't have to all support the same party, because people must follow ideas, must follow. You must be convinced about what you want to support. There's no way, like for example, me. My father or grandfather would expect me to support NRM. The party they support. I should support what I feel I want to support, as long as I'm above 18. You get what I mean?
Yeah, I know.
And I wanted to go through there.
Yeah.
And so these people have a debate, which was the first time. And indeed, I think in 2011, we saw, I think it was there a debate or not, I don't kind of remember. It's been extremely dramatic, 2011, 2016, and now what is going there as tense as is. So anyway. So that's what I wanted to say.
Okay, well, you've kind of covered what I would have imagined, because if you're the writer and me who is watching, I'm just thinking as I watch, so I wouldn't really remember most of the things.
Yes. Interrupt you. Yeah. Interrupt you a little bit, because they say once a work of art is done, this is in theory. Yeah. Once a work of, as in film art theory, once a work of art is done, the author no longer has control about the interpretation. It is you, the viewer, who is relating to this story, putting yourself in the shoes of the women in there, the children in, the youth in there, you know, whoever. So you may actually have more knowledge, more understanding of this movie, more than me. So
I was
I'm able to give you my thoughts. Yeah.
I was waiting to see whether Kato would win. That was my intention. So wherever I was watching, I was thinking of Kato. Unfortunately, he, as you say, it never happened. So I was a little bit disappointed. So I just want you. I was
extremely disappointed as a writer. So I had to turn him like that.
So as because I really wanted the youth to take over. From this guy, because I really didn't like the way he was behaving, but yeah, I was disappointed. So what was your target audience as you are writing? What were you, I know you've talked about the youth, So what
Yeah,
was
that's
other
okay.
audience that you were targeting as you were writing this movie or film?
Speaking in general terms, for sure, the film targeted all Ugandans.
Mm-hmm.
And the film also targeted the majority of Ugandans who are the youth, to tell them it is your right, you must participate. Don't only wait for when the leaders touch where it hurts most. Don't only wait for when they come to take your football pitch.
Yeah.
Participate, be active in your country. And even when, like for example, the voting takes place, the youth or the voting agents remain at the voting center to make sure that whoever they are representing is their votes are counted.
Yes.
So I was trying in a way to tell people what is a responsibility of
a good citizen.
A responsible citizen.
Mm.
And if you are youth, must you only just be used to go and fight? Must you only be used to receive some kickback, some bribe, and then you sell your vote? Your vote. I think the next part you'll be showing will give you a little bit of that to give you the apathy.
Yes.
And to give you the extreme levels of how our Ugandans, our communities rather, have sunk so low. All they care is buy us a drink, we shall give you the vote.
And some don't even,
yes.
even, as you're saying that it is a responsibility of a good citizen, some of them are given even these drinks and they don't even have a vote. They're not registered. So they just take the money and they stay at home and then they wait for the results and then they start complaining, but when they actually did not vote. So in this country here in the UK, you must be registered, be on the registered voter. Otherwise, you're not a good citizen. So it is. We are calling upon Ugandans to wake up and start going to active politics. Register. You don't have to be a politician. I know Mr. Berija keeps saying we have to be politicians. The Bunyoro we want, but at least vote. At least go and vote, so that when someone goes through, it's not someone who has voted on your behalf. You have actually participated and voted the person you want, because through voting, you're having your voice heard. So it's amazing that the audience is targeting every Ugandan. I was going to think maybe a woman, maybe you are targeting women, maybe you are targeting youth. So
I for in a way also address the issues of women. Like for example, what are the challenges of women in politics?
Yeah.
Through Atim Kagoro's character, what are the challenges she faces? She is abused. Yeah, the other contestant, instead of putting across issues, he would just instead attack the character of Atim Kagoro.
Yes.
And the other women who, like the market women, the market is very important in this place, because the market kind of bridges the rich and the poor. The rich go to the market to buy the food. The poor work in the market to give us the food.
Yes.
And the poor grow the food anyway. So Kato's mother works in the market.
True.
And they have no stalls at all. So when Kato, as a youth, contests, they sit down, these young men and women, implicitly, sit down and design a manifesto, a campaign strategy to go door to door, to go to everyone, because first of all, they didn't have the cars, they didn't have the money. Kato tells these people, you know what, we are going to use means of campaigning that the powerful politicians don't have. We have Futubishi. That is, they have their feet.
Yeah.
Yeah, Futubishi. So they walk everywhere. We see them jumping over
motorbikes and walking, running.
Jumping over like
running,
unbridged roads.
Yeah.
Going through all the alleyways and So, in one interesting scene, Kato's friend, part of the Wekoto team, goes to campaign to Kato's mother at the market. And Kato's mother, at the beginning of the movie, we see her being bribed by Itwara. Itwara comes to the market with all the
money,
and he buys food, and he would tell all the market women, keep the balance, keep the balance. I need your vote, he whispers to them. So he's in a way bribing them. And Kato rejects actually that money because he's
Yeah, I saw him
with
looking at the
one
money
time.
like, is
Yes,
it
he
fake
rejects
money?
the money.
Yeah.
So later on, with his friend, they go to ask Kato's mother, or who is now represents all other women of that clan, because Kato is from an ordinary family. Mother works in the market. Father, he looks to be retired because he's always cutting newspaper clippings. And Kato did a diploma. He never got a job. He's a barber. So they are our average family, and those are the majority of families in Uganda anyway.
Yeah.
So
basically, this fair play is well. It targets everyone, as you said, which is amazing.
Yeah, everyone sees themselves in there.
Yeah. So it's a lovely movie. I really enjoyed watching it. And now, right now, because we are going out and we need to do another movie piece, so I've got to go for a break. Nitugenda kumura mukake, nitujja kuba ntugaruka after the break. Baitu lero this time titugenda kwaba our viewers, baitu our audience, baitu a song as we always do. We are going to give you more of this movie, Fair Play, so that you enjoy it. Movie night, because it's a movie night. So I keep telling people to bring out their champagne, the wine and everything, and some of them don't want to do it. So we're going to switch off our lights, even in the studio, and go for a movie night. So when we return, we will be talking about the different characters, why everything that was in your head as you are writing this. We need to know. We need to understand your head, how it was functioning as you are writing this movie. So we want to know which party you are supporting. So nitugenda kumuramu hati abakutuliza naba audience yaitu, nitugenda kumuramu, nitugenda ku bantu batere aka movie night again. Muiheyo champagne, obuwaini, chai, abatanywa wine, mama wanga jagama nyoti nywa wine ko wate kikopo, muiheyo popcorn tulye twegonze. Mutyo muno abanyoro n'abanyoro kati na friends of Bunyoro, abahuma n'abahuma kati nitugenda hakuhumuraho. Bye, see you then.
Don't cover our posters here.
They put their posters first.
Don't mind you, please take care of them.
What about the eradication? Oh yeah.
This is going to be a very tough fight. You know who we are struggling against? You know the resources he's using. So let me ask you, why are you here? We are here because we want to make Wikoto a better place. The message from CEP is simple. 1, empowerment. 2, accountability.
Yes.
And 3, poverty eradication.
Yes. I think we know what the message is. But the problem is the tactics Itwara uses. We have to deal with him.
The people are going to judge you from the message, not how you deal with Itwara. Focus on the message. We know Itwara's tactics, but we must follow the electoral laws. If any of you are going to use dirty tactics, then don't campaign for me.
have not taken my feeling. From the road.
I see the guys are having fun. And here's more fun from Honorable Kitara.
Yes!
Yes!
That is Kitara is my man.
Yes!
Yeah.
Kitara cares about your welfare.
Yes. Yes.
He wants his people happy.
Yes.
So, on election day, who are you going to vote?
Is that a question?
Kitara!
Kitara! Kitara! Kitara is my man. Yes. You identify the way. You greet him on my behalf.
Exactly.
Yes. Yeah.
What's this? Look what Kato. Huh? Look what Kagoro.
And someone puts a tip on Itwara. This must be Itwara's man. I wish I grab him. I'll pump some sense in him.
This is terrible.
You. We have caught you today.
What did you want?
Do you know that it is a criminal offense to defend somebody's poster?
Just leave me alone. We are taking him to the station. No, this is just an artistic expression.
Take your artistic expression elsewhere, not on our candidate.
Let's take him to the police.
Yes.
No, I'm just an artist. No, I can't. No, I'm just an artist. Okay, let us go. Let us go to police.
Shame upon those who said that Itwara forged the academic certificate. I lost my seat and stayed out in the cold. But this time, Itwara is back. One of the first things I will do as an MP is to go to the Minister of Roads and Metallic Works and tell him, sir, I'm not leaving this office until you promise to tarmac Nyaima Road.
Yes, that is it.
I am not going to move because the people of Wekoto cannot wait forever. And this is the type of leader we want. A man who is not afraid to fight for his people.
Yes.
Some people may ask, why does Itwara want fighting? Good question. The answer is development. Bring development to our people. You know, when you are a leader, you must be tough and committed. This is why you see I spend a lot of my own money to pay school fees for orphans. This is why when projects delay, I'm not afraid to confront ministers.
Yes.
This is not a job for soft people. This is not a job for women. This is why when I see a woman creature challenging me, I feel like laughing. Huh? I feel like laughing, ladies and gentlemen. If you think it's just a simple job of working with women and youth, please tell her to think again.
Yes.
A woman? By the time you finish to cook for your husband, take care of your children and your house, what is the time for you to do this tough business of leadership? Does she think leadership is just a
on TGM Radio. Nimuhuliriza iraka lya Bunyoro kuruga mu Diaspora on TGM Radio.
Tumuwade aloge tumuwade. That is Itwara. With Migondese abokubanyonya kubayenimpa Itwara abwareki. Hati mwevale yo ba viewers baitu na
Itwara is green, light green.
Okay. Mwevale yo abanyoro kati abahuma na abahuma kati na odd na ba friends baitu ababunyoro hakuhumura na twarora na movie night ngira nyo na musemereirwe mu biboine bya Mr. Etware byakozere hati ankwenda amoti ontugambire ho about Mr. Etware's speech and actions. What was your aim, or what were you aiming to show the audience about Etware's manners, Etware's speech? We really need to know.
Okay. Like I earlier said, Itwara was presented in a stereotypical way, as a stereotype of a bad politician. Through Itwara, I wanted all bad politicians to see themselves and to feel stupid or feel ashamed of what they do. Because Itwara, imagine he's at a rally and this is the time he's supposed to be telling his supporters
what he's going to do for the nation, or
what
for
he's
his
going to do, his manifesto. And instead of doing that, he spends half of the time talking about the woman. And the way he discusses the woman is also really derogative, which was intentional to show the extreme, the challenges that women go through, because somehow the men think maybe this is not a place for the woman. A woman should be in the kitchen. A woman won't manage to be a good leader. She has her children to look after. She has a husband to look after, as if someone told them. I'm going to cite a certain Nigerian movie where the lady said, you married a wife, not a chef. As if women are chefs.
Even our ex-president, I was told he at one time said the job of a woman is in the kitchen.
A woman, not a chef or a laundry person. But anyway, this aside, I wanted to show the challenges that women face.
Yes.
Because they are still being considered like a pre-civilization, pre-education era where a woman had to do everything in a home. So that means if she's going to be a vice president or an MP, she will not have time for the people because she's assumed she'll be busy cooking. A woman does not have, to cook does not mean you have to practically go to the kitchen to cook in our context, our context rather. And the scene that follows after where you stopped, on the contrary, we see a team talking to a given group of young people also, because the majority of our population anyway is young. So most likely you're talking to youthful people or people below 40 years. And she's confusing them. Will you give me the vote? And they want some money from her. She tells them it's not about what I can give you. Also think about what you can do for your country. Think about the value, your contribution for this country. My role as Citizen Empowerment Party representative, now I'm speaking in Atim Kagoro's voice, is to empower you, give you the information, empower you and give you accountable leadership. Account to you, be empowered to do the little you can do within your means. Because like sometimes you find people blaming the politicians for whatever is going on. But what are they doing as individuals also? You don't expect a politician to come and make a road. And the mistakes our politicians do is to promise things they cannot do. Like Itwara is saying in there. He's promising air.
Yeah,
find
that
an
he's going
MP
to
promising,
sit.
I will make this road. It is not the MP to make the road.
He's
There
going
is
to
an
sit in the
agency.
office until the road is made.
Okay, he can influence, but even if you can't influence unless something is budgeted for.
Yeah.
A certain road is budgeted for, like otherwise in Bunyoro, all the time we've had representation, our roads started being made only when oil was discovered.
Yes.
Do you mean to say all the MPs we had from independence never talked about roads? They did. Everything has to be in the budget. You have to influence
What has already
your
been
people's
budgeted
ideas
for.
to be systematically included. And how do you do that? By going to the people themselves, asking them, what do you want? How can we improve? If you are market people, what are your most pressing needs? You realize, like in this movie, for the market woman, all they want are permanent stalls.
Yes.
Because Kato's mother spent a lot of the time fixing her stall.
And she almost gave up. She came and told the husband,
yes,
I'm actually giving up.
Stall.
Yeah.
So you can imagine if she had a permanent stall, a decent place to work at or to work in. When you drive through Uganda, you see the miserable market area, the disorder. You're like, what does it take to organize these people? A decent stall made out of concrete, and which you build once, you don't have to build all the time. And we can have some decent display of things. And it all goes with, again, having accountable leadership, as Atim Kagoro was saying. Yeah. I hope I answer your question.
Yes, you did. Yeah. So you've already answered, because my next one was Itwara, what you were thinking while you are writing this character, and then Atim Kagoro, who you have just been telling us that she was encouraging people to look for the manifestos, what the person is going to do for them, not the money. So just thank you so much for answering that, and I'm encouraging our viewers and the audience to actually go back and watch Fair Play, because it's an educative film which is telling us what we ought to be doing, exactly, especially now for those people who are in Uganda. Us who are here, we might not have the power to vote, but probably if we are in Uganda, we would. We are hoping that the embassies in the diaspora would allow us to vote, and
that is your right,
and this is our right. Yes, so
that is your right.
Yeah, so we've got to go back and watch Fair Play, because it was actually made for this season, and it's good. That's why I thought it would be a nice one to incorporate in our topic today. So I'm going to just ask my colleague, my boss, the vice chairperson of Bunyoro Kitara Development Association that sponsors this show, to help me today again and read out the questions from our viewers or the audience, and so that we also appreciate their presence, and we are able to, so that Amoti asobole connecting nabo, asobole kubagarukamu ebikaguzo ebibakwenda kuhura from you answers. Hati alali webale muno kuikiriza kunyamba okirokino. I'm so pleased or your offer, and please go ahead and read for us the questions, and appreciate our viewers, so that we then continue with our program. We are about a few minutes to the end of the show, but we'll do our best to finish with a mod as well. Otyo Munarali.
Yes, Madam Host, our special guest, Ahmad, thank you very much for allowing coming to the show.
I can't hear Rally, please.
Our technician, thank you for your endless work.
Do you hear Rally now?
There's
Ahmad.
a few comments here.
No. Okay, he's really far away. I can't hear what he's saying. I'm hearing somebody talking, but I can't hear what they are saying.
Okay.
There's a few comments here. Samuel Apuli Rusoke, viewing, expressing her gratitude. Thank you very much. Diana Kemirembe pointing it out that look at Rwanda, it's a clean city. Alisa Tugonza, past chair of BKDA, saying that this is what is happening right now in Uganda.
Yes, Diana came in again. I always used to think that King Kabalega, while watching Shaka Zulu, so relating Shaka Zulu to Kabalega, hinting there something. Where was this movie recorded? That is Christine Magara, and I think it was answered there, outskirts of Uganda, of Kampala. And thank you to Nyamiti Motion Pictures. They are active there answering a few questions.
Nyati.
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 Yes, Nyati.
Nyati means buffalo. It's Mbogo, my totem.
Excellent. Daisy Biaruhanga, thanking there, extending our gratitude. Stephen Twoki, Amoti Cindy, thank you so much for sharing with us your great usage of art. Very inspirational. That's a few questions here. Why is it okay? It's the same question here from Diana Kemirembe. Have you thought of collaborating with Netflix so that they can help you with promotion of your movies on an international level? That is Diana Kemirembe from the US. Yes, congratulations on your achievement, watching from Cape Town. Then the other question is, as you said that as an artist, when you create a movie, you hand it over so the viewers make a decision. This movie was produced in 2011, and now it's 2020. But looking at the content of the entire movie reflects the current political status right now. Did you think that Uganda was leading here right now when you're looking at all the aspects, the young people being active in politics, non-filled promises within the government, things that haven't been completed? That's one question. The other question is...
my goodness, the questions are so many. I hope I remember all of them.
Yes,
Can
yes.
I answer a few of them, then you ask me more?
Yes, yes. So the last one is, there is quite a few movies you've produced. There is Wind of Hope, there is Fair Play, there is a book for every child, Breaking the Mesh, Undying Dream. Since your movies are with theme related and they've got a message behind it, do you have one theme of the new Uganda? Those are the questions.
Okay, the last one is extremely complex, but a book for every child, Fate, Windows of Hope, which is against children, then Fair Play, focusing on these footballer youths. I can't say that I specifically have one theme per se, but I think inadvertently and intentionally, I end up having to represent things that reflect who I am also as a person, or as in terms of my age group. So you realize that most of the movies are dealing with youth issues, the issues that affect the children, the issues that affect the youth. And I think someone talked about a new Uganda.
Yes, are you going to produce one new Uganda movie?
Am I willing to produce one new Uganda movie? But already I think I don't even have to produce a new Uganda movie. I implicitly am directing towards a new Uganda in my movies. Trace it from Windows of Hope, where people must be hardworking. You work hard to get whatever you get. In this movie, Fair Play, it is emphasized not once or twice. It is said, you get what you work for. Work hard and don't relent on your dream. And picking from the theme song, Uganda, the Pearl of Africa, this is our dream. The one that is said in Lusoga, this is our dream. And in this theme song, we also have chants that are talking about peace, unity, reconciliation in various languages, like Leblango, Lebacholi. Leb means language, I think that's how they call their language. Leblango, Lango language, Acholi language. Then it is in then the story is set or shows it is possibly happening in Bunyoro or in a place in that can be identifiable to maybe most Bantu-speaking people. So in a way, I'm showing where should Uganda be? What is the role of this majority in Uganda, the majority, the youth? And if we don't, and where are we anyway? Where are they? Where are we? Speaking in plural terms, the youth are drinking, they are the ones fighting over small things. They are, especially like, for example, when we see that criminal act being made, it is a youth who is being used to go and deface another person's poster. It is the same youth who are also the vigilantes to make sure their candidates' posters are not. It is the youth who got to beat others. So I really wanted to show that these youth could direct their energies to where it matters, own their vote, make sure they follow their vote, make sure they do clean politics, make sure if you're beaten, for example, and you're a youth, you don't have to go and protest. And also to implicitly tell the people who are not youth, they may need to respect the majority anyway. If you are, for example, in Itwara, and so many politicians who behave like Itwara, very many, we've been following up what is happening in Uganda during primaries of parties that I won't even have to say here. It was a matter of life and death. People being shot, people being beaten. I think there's someone who died, people using military in a wrong way. In this movie, I show there's even no military, there's only police, and a very responsible police keeping law and order. If Atim Kagore is supposed to be campaigning here, Itwara's people must not come there. If they come and police is called, they respond immediately, and a responsible electoral commission that is able to summon all candidates, yeah, whether disregarding whether you are an independent or an incumbent or not. So for me, it was really dreaming, creating that utopian world. There is a dystopia, there is disorder, but through the character of how Kato behaves, how our team behaves, who are my good characters, I'm showing the people this is where we want to go. I hope I remember all the questions. I think someone talked about, have I thought about contacting Netflix? For my next projects, I am thinking about that. Now we'll talk about it if you give me time. And someone I think who said when they watch or hear Kinyoro names or whatever, they think about us making a Shaka Zulu movie of Bunyoro. We shall make a movie better than Shaka Zulu. That's what I'm working on. And my determination is like Kato's and Atim Kagoro's. That one will be made. Yeah.
I don't know whether there's two important questions here. I don't know whether you've seen them. Yeah, I'm sorry, Adari has allowed me to read them out, so we are going to read them quick and answer them so fast, so then we can go to our next question so that we conclude. Amot Daisy is asking, she says, Amot, what is intended end result of fair play? Do you think fair play has influenced young voters? It's a very interesting question.
Do I think fair play has done what?
Influenced young voters.
Like today, as in what is happening in the country or in this movie?
In maybe if they have, I don't know whether this movie, you said it was launched
in 2011. So now 2020.
Yes, it was launched then, and it showed then. It even showed on DSTV, and I was following up the comments. Actually, people from the rest of Africa were really impressed with this movie because it kind of shows what happens in most banana republics, in most disorganized republics, which are still a majority in Africa. For me, the intention really was, implicitly to influence the young people and the old equally.
One burning
for
question.
Example, Kato's mother.
So sorry, Amoti. One burning question as we wind up. What plans do you have to attract our youth in the field of filmmaking, and what are the main obstacles? That is Stephen Atoki.
To attract the youth in filmmaking, of course, maybe film is a business. Film is showbiz, and it is a business. And the most potential, one of the businesses with high potential to create a lot of employment. Unfortunately, it is not prioritized. Like art in our country is not prioritized. For example, when you look at the impact of this movie to the audience, the Electoral Commission, as is today, it was made by their money, EU money. We don't know whether it is donor or charity. I was paid, and not little money, to make this movie. This movie would be showing everywhere, in every village. But we have leaders or whatever the case may be, who don't really, maybe there is no continuity, they don't think about the impact. And I think it's not only in Uganda, it happens to so many banana republics where leaders don't plan for the future, because whatever you do, you're supposed to plan 50 years ahead. We are making this movie now. Can this movie help us on a lot of expenditure that is spent on voter education? If you took this movie, for example, to all villages and screened it, it will do a lot to teach the people how they're supposed to behave. But is it being done? I don't know. Anyway, I don't know.
Okay.
I retained copyright for the movie.
Okay, so we need to cover. Sorry, Amot, I have to cut you short. We need to cover the next question because it is important to the next, to one of the related to some of the questions that our viewers have asked. Last time when you came here to talk about Windows of Hope, you told us about Kabalega's project, and our audience would like to know where you have reached with that project, because that is the Shaka Zulu movie someone is talking about.
Oh, yeah. When I saw that question, I was wondering why they were now linking Shaka Zulu when we were talking about politics. But Shaka Zulu was a politician as well. So anyway, I don't quite remember what I told you then, but I remember, I think, I did say I was doing research for the Kabalega project. And we've continued to do research, and we have zeroed to the fact that we are going to make a series of Kabalega, and it will not only be Kabalega, it's going to be a series of Uganda, because in my further research on this project, I realized you can't talk about Kabalega without talking about King Mwanga. Yes. So we are going to have to profile the entire King Mwanga, and remember this is going to be a series, possibly 3 or 4 seasons. So we'll have, through the story of Kabalega, we're going to have to talk about Mwanga, we'll talk about Kasagama, we'll talk about the birth of Toro and the conflict there was, Lugard. It's going to be a very interesting movie or film project where we're having characters. We've already worked out the central thesis, where we're going to have characters who are driven by words which have commonly been known as Kabalega's motto, conquer or die. So the movie is also going to be called Conquer or Die. And in our story, we are having so many people who are determined to conquer. Like the British want to conquer Uganda, want to conquer these territories. They want to conquer Bunyoro. And Kabalega is also saying, I either conquer you or die. Toro Kasagama wants to conquer back and get his territory, which Kabalega came to take. When Kabalega takes over, he wants to conquer Toro. He goes and conquers Ankole again, forces them to pay tributes, forces people in Busongora to pay tributes, forces Rwanda to pay tributes to Bunyoro. So, the whole concept of the movie is being so well worked out, and we are still, of course, they call it pre-production. We are still planning, we are still doing pre-production plans. And then we are also thinking about budget. Yeah, that was going to be my next question. What is the budget, if there is any that has already been drawn, and how are you going to get the funds? Because the movie, the series has really been effectively conceptualized that it's going to be the history of Uganda through Kabalega. Kabalega is the leading character. Like I've already said, the story of Bunyoro is the story of Uganda, is the story of Toro, is the story of, we are seeing Ankole swinging, where should it support from the time when Kabigumile is fighting and Kabalega takes over. Then Kabalega goes to the north. Our teams, our relatives in the north, they support. So we show the role of Lango, the role of Choli, the role of Luri.
I guess you would even go to Kenya.
Yes, we shall go there. Actually, at the end, I will tell you, this is extremely interesting. You're not talking about it. You see my eyes.
We have 5 minutes. We have 2 seconds to end.
It's all right. But you see my eyes beaming with all the joy.
Yes.
It's one beautiful thing that you think about, and you are so elated. You're so happy too. This movie series, we've already worked out how it ends. Like Kabalega is there when he's taken to Kenya in prison, and he befriends this Kikuyu woman
and gets some nice guy son.
Kenyatta comes in. Yes.
How
amazing. Kenyatta comes in. They have a relationship, and by the time he's being taken to the Seychelles Island, he leaves this beautiful Kikuyu lady pregnant, and he even tells her that, take care of my son. He's gonna be the king. He will rule over these territories. And if you forward this to what is happening to the Kenyatta family, much as it is still contested, I will leave it there.
Yes, amazing. So what about those people who are going, people have been texting me. There's a lady, actually, I was supposed to send her this today's topic to make sure that her daughter comes to the show and listens to you. Those people who want to participate, where in it, what do they have to do, and where do they find you?
Okay, I'm going to go to that as I conclude. I was still telling you about the Kabalega movie. So that is briefly about its concept, its story, its synopsis. And because it's bigger than what we think, and we really want this Ugandan story, this Bunyoro story, to go places. So I was thinking of how do I contact Oprah Winfrey, because she has a film company, Oprah Winfrey Network, and they have a lot of money, or Tyler Perry. I'm thinking about contacting Netflix. I'm working out my final details with my team to see how we send a proposal to Netflix. If Netflix takes it up, as long as we agree, or Oprah or Tyler Perry or whoever it is has passion and in telling epic historical films, is very welcome. So whoever it is that takes it up, as long as they are going to stay true to the story, because we want Uganda's history to be told as it were.
Amazing.
To be told as it happened. So then your other question, which is about how people can participate in the movie, we've not yet reached the level of getting actors. So far we are looking for executive producers, the people who put in the dime, the people who put in the money. So when it's time to look for actors, we shall definitely audition and we shall put up calls for audition on our website, on
Voice of Bunyoro in the Diaspora. You would make
Voice of Bunyoro. Actually, if you allow, because it is you who controls what you want your audience to hear, we could come back again and talk about specifically that series when it is starting.
That is why we are here. We created Voice of Bunyoro, talk about Bunyoro. So Kabalega, you see my T-shirt. Who doesn't want to do that? Of course, we will be very amazed to call you back.
Wherever I will be, I will gladly, because if I'm even back in Uganda, the better for me. I don't have to wake up so early to attend the program. And maybe I don't even have to be the only one to talk about it. You can have so many other people talking about the movie. So we are still doing pre-production.
Amazing.
We are still doing research. We are still writing. We are still looking for producers, people to put in money. They are called executive producers. So when it's time to look for actors, to look for other people to be on the movie, like for example the creative team, because we will need a lot of, for example, consultants in Toro culture, which is not so different from mine, but we definitely need a consultant to make sure that you're doing the rituals, for example, the way they are supposed to be done. We will need a consultant in Uganda when we representing the story of Mwanga, when we are representing the story of is he Awinyi, the king, the chief of Lango, and
okay. Sorry, I have to cut you short because we are really running out of time. And I just want to make my last question. I just want you to do closing remarks in 5 seconds because we have now 16 minutes past the hour, and we've got to go. And my vice needs to do some announcement. So 5-second closing remarks from you,
okay,
Dr. Cindy. Allow me call you Dr. Cindy.
You are allowed, only this time. Just call me Cindy. Thank you so much for having me, and I'm grateful to all the viewers who have been online and the ones who will watch this on Facebook or whatever social media handle it's gonna play. And I would like you to keep safe first and foremost, and be responsible citizens. If you're Ugandans, make sure you vote, make sure you get your voting card, and make sure you do clean politics. If you're a politician and you're listening to me, make sure you don't act like Itwara. We need peace in our country. We all love our country. We need development. We need to take care of the future of these majority of people in Uganda, the youth and the children. And I would like you to keep following maybe Nyati Motion Pictures and support the film industry, support art. Yeah, that's all. Bye.
Thank you so much, Dr. Cindy. The last time I call you doctor because you're not yet used to it, but I'm sure as you get older, you start wanting us to be calling you Dr. Cindy. Thank you so much, Dr. Cindy, for accepting to come and be with us here, for giving us this opportunity once again to come and talk about your movies. We are very excited and we are very glad to have worked with you, and we are going to go off for a break for a month, but we hope when we come back, you will be part of the next series of The Voice of Bunyoro. So thank you so much for giving us this opportunity. I want to hand over to Arali for 5 seconds, so then we can go off air. Arali.
Thank you, Attain. Yes, Voice of Bunyoro, we are building up a team. As you've heard, we are going to we're winding up our first edition or season, and we'll be coming back in the new year. We are looking for partnership, collaborations to come and sponsor this show such that we can increase on the production. We are building teams. We have a team already in Uganda cooking. If there's a company, organization, please just get in touch with us here at Voice of Bunyoro, and we build that partnership. Thank you.
Otemuno webale muno Arali, chair of Bunyoro Development, vice chair of Bunyoro Development Association that sponsors this show. Anko Muhulire, we are going off and we will be coming, we are going to go off air now. Thank you so much for tuning in, and thank you for following us. Thank you for the support. And this is the Irakali ya Bunyoro in the Diaspora, sponsored by Bunyoro Kitara Development Association, and it is on TGM Radio UK. And we will be back next week, 6:30. Please tune in, and we will be looking at a very interesting topic that will be mental health. Please do not miss that topic because it is important that we get to know about mental health in Bunyoro. So we'll be here next week, 6:30. So please come. Invite many of your friends and let them come and listen to what is happening in Bunyoro. We're going to have a very amazing lady who will be presenting this show. Mwebale muno kutuhuliriza, mukama abalinde. We wish you a very beautiful and a blessed week ahead of us. This is Irakali ya Bunyoro. Bye for now.
Nimuhuliriza Irakali ya Bunyoro kuruga mu Diaspora on TGM Radio.
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
Kuija kuuliriza iraka lya Bunyoro kuruga mu Diaspora on TGN Radio. Mwebale muno kuija kuuliriza iraka lya Bunyoro kuruga mu Diaspora